Hello and thank you for watching this video where we're going to talk you through what the Connection Center can do to connect SCOM to Slack and Teams. But first let's start with a quick overview of Connection Center. So Connection Center is all about connecting SCOM to the various places you might want to pull stuff from and push stuff to. So starting with ITSM tools like ServiceNow and Sharewell, and of course messaging platforms like Teams and Slack. And ultimately anywhere you like with webhooks. Connection Center will let you push things anywhere you like, essentially, and pull data back from wherever you like as well, longer term, and all with no code. So come with us, join the no-code revolution, and make SCOM do more for you with Connection Center. Let's start by looking at a little bit about what our integrations for Teams and Slack do. So at a really high level, obviously SCOM raises alerts. These are pushed across to Slack and Teams in the form of messages in channels, which obviously any updates that are made to that SCOM alert, let's say it transitions through states, let's say it's closed, resolved, whatever, that information is pushed through to Teams and Slack as well, so you can always keep up to date with what's going on. Straightforward integration to explain, really, which is great. You get a lot more power from this integration when you combine Teams in Slack with other platforms like an ITSM platform, because then what you would see is something like this. So SCOM alert is raised, it's pushed to your ITSM platform and raised as an incident, but also the message at the same time is sent to Slack or Teams, one of those. So you can see what's going on there without having to be in ServiceNow or in SCOM. Really quite useful when you combine these bits of functionality together, because obviously then the information on that incident with bidirectional sync is pulled back through into SCOM. So this is stuff like the incident ID, who it's assigned to, the assignment group, that kind of thing. This information can then be passed from SCOM onto Slack and Teams, so that again you don't need everyone to be in a single tool to get those updates. And ultimately, you want those notifications going to Teams and Slack to help drive the resolution of that incident in ServiceNow or Sharewell. This will obviously result in the SCOM alert being closed, again with bidirectional sync, and you want that notification of the fact that the SCOM alert has closed to go through to Teams and Slack. So you get a whole bunch more power when you use these tools together, and that's really the why for these tools. So without further ado, let's dig into a demo and see how this works in practice. So here we are in SCOM, and you can see we have the Connection Center Management Pack imported. You can see we have, at the moment, got ServiceNow and Sharewell hooked up. Sharewell's currently disabled, but Sharewell is other way around, rather. You can see Sharewell is disabled, ServiceNow is enabled, that way around. And you can see this by the states here, but you can see no mention of Teams and Slack. We have outbound, so we're sending SCOM alerts to ServiceNow, none to Sharewell. And you can see inbound, we're getting updates from ServiceNow as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new connection to Microsoft Teams. We'll start with that one. So we go add connection, and we pick Microsoft Teams. The first thing we're asked for is a name, Teams. And this is going to go to my infrastructure team, so infrastructure team. Notifications, and then we need a webhook URL. So I don't have this set up yet. So what I was going to do is do this so you can see how easy it is to set up a webhook to actually push SCOM alerts to. So this is my infrastructure team in Microsoft Teams. This is where we want SCOM alerts to go. If I go to the top here and go to connectors, then you can see, I suspect I've got nothing created so far, but one of the options here is to add an incoming webhook here, which I'm going to add, and add. And now we're going to go back in and configure it. It says here, to set up an incoming webhook, please provide a name and click create. This is going to be SCOM alerts. And hit create. You could also put a fancier logo in, but I'm not going to bother for a second. And there we go. Here is the URL of that webhook. Copy this URL to the clipboard. Done. And that's it, essentially. Webhook set up. There it is, incoming webhook. And there you go, there's the notification. This has been set up. You would obviously put a logo in here so it didn't just say incoming webhook. You'd have, company logo, SCOM logo, whatever you want. And the other thing to note here is the name. I typed SCOM alerts. When I configured that, this will be visible in the channel. Alright, so now if we go back to SCOM and paste in my webhook URL, here it is. If we used a proxy, we'd check this box and route our connection from SCOM via it, but I'm not using one right now. I'm going to turn this connection on. Now we get to pick the type of message to send. Do we send the small version or the big version, basically? I'm going to send the big version for now. And you have the option to include a link to a dashboard or web console of some sort. So this can be any form of web console that accepts these SCOM object ID as a sort of key as part of its URL. So squared up is a good example of a console that does. So I'm going to put in my squared up details here. We're going to go and put in infra web 01.cookdown.local /ops 19 / alert ID. View alert details is the text you will click on the SCOM alerts from Slack that will take you through to the dashboard, so you can customize what it says here. View alert details in squared up or whatever you could put here. But anyway, this will work for me. I'm going to go next. And then we can pick which SCOM alerts we're going to push. So in this case, I'm just going to push everything where the resolution state is set to raise incident, because I only want to push a subset just for the demonstration here. Raised incident, there it is. But obviously this is very familiar criteria picker that you'll be familiar with from notification subscriptions. Essentially, it's the same UI, so same capabilities. You'll ask where you want this configuration to be stored, and here I'm going to pick the Connection Center Management Pack. You can pick wherever you like. On the summary screen you can see what we configured, and we're going to hit finish. When we hit finish, as with all Connection Center connections, we create it. We set up a monitor to monitor it, and you'll see its state in the UI here when it's done. Okay, so there it is. It's now in testing, as you can see, so that's positive. Good news there. Look, the state of our Teams connector is green, so it works. The connection is successful. It's being monitored by SCOM. Now we're going to add our connection into Slack. So we're going to go add connection, click on Slack. And this one we're going to type in Slack. And the channel is called SCOM Alerts Channel. Our Slack webhook's URL is in my clipboard, so I'm going to paste that in. I have no proxy to enable, so I'm not going to check this, but I do want it enabled. And then we're going to pick the standard message format so we can see the difference. We do want a link to our web console, and this I'll just go get from a clipboard, from a notepad file over here, and we'll paste that in there like that. So we have the right link to my dashboard. This is squared up in this case, my dashboarding tool. And we're going to this time select all alerts, because we want to see not just the alerts in the raise incident state, but all of them, including when this closes for Slack. And we're going to save the details in the standard cookdown management pack. And here we go, it's beginning its testing. With any luck, that will succeed, and then we're going to push an alert to all of these places and watch it come through, and then we're going to resolve the incident, which will result in the update of the incident's resolution being pushed through to all of those different places as well. Let's just see if that connection test has completed. Okay, great, that is now connected, perfect. Next thing to do is we're going to push a SCOM alert out to everywhere. Let's pick one of these guys. Let's see, which one have we got? This one is from a monitor. This will do the job nicely. We're going to set this one's resolution state to raise incident, which will result in it being pushed everywhere. And then we're going to go and watch it come into Teams and Slack. So here we are, Teams and Slack, and we're going to wait for this alert to come through. Okay, here we go, look. And this is the alert. We have both versions of this. We have the detailed version with the see more button, so some of that information is hidden, and the simple version that looks a bit more like this. So there we go. Now if I click view alert details, it should open in squared up. There we go. That's this SCOM alert. That's perfect. That's working as it should. Next thing we're going to do is pop into ServiceNow. If I refresh my SCOM alerts table, what I should see is my alert is at the top. Yes, here it is. It's not yet been raised as an incident. It may not have matched a rule. Let's have a look and see if it's matched a rule, or whether it's in it's being held by a wait rule. The whole idea of wait rules is they're meant to weed out SCOM alerts that open and close really quickly, and you can see it's now finished its wait and is now been matched against a rule and has an incident ID, which is this one. I'm going to open this incident here now, and this is incident number 173 at the end. And if I go back to the SCOM console, what I should see, yeah, here we go. This is my SCOM alert here. You can see it's with bidirectional sync. We have the incident information pulled back through into SCOM, which is perfect. What we're going to do in ServiceNow with this incident is we're going to resolve it, which will result in the monitor being reset, the SCOM alert being closed, and notifications being sent everywhere. So I'm going to set the incident state to resolved, which requires I put in here some resolution information. Let's say this one was works around. Why did we work around this? Flush to cache, something like that. That will do. And we'll hit resolve. So the incident is resolved. This will result in the SCOM alert being closed off. If we go back through to SCOM, we should see this SCOM alert disappear from the top in a minute or so. And we'll see a notification go through to Teams and Slack as well. I'm going to open Health. Oh, too late. I was going to open Health Explorer so we can watch the monitor and be reset, but I didn't get there in time. It's been reset. The alert's disappeared. It's closed, which is what we would expect. So if I go back to Slack and Teams, we should see on Slack, which we set up for all states, that the update comes through, but not on Teams. I think that's the way around. We did it anyway. There we go. Also on Slack, we see that the same alert's been posted with the state closed, so you can see exactly what's going on. And again, you have your view alert details button, so you can click through and see it in squared up. So there you go. Really powerful integration, and made even more powerful when used with other integrations too. So just to go through a few more things on kind of Connection Center and what its future might hold. So here we have a list of things that you could pull from SCOM or push from SCOM. Essentially, and we have along the top here a list of all the platforms that we integrate with right now, so from ServiceNow through Sharewell through to the messaging platforms, and today you can see our list of capabilities for each of the platforms, so we don't check every single box right now. Some of these boxes wouldn't make sense to check, so events into Slack, for example, probably isn't a thing you would want. But some of these things, it's just a case of we need feedback from you guys to let us know which feature capabilities or which platforms to build out next, so that what we're building makes sense for you guys as the users of Connection Center. So if, for example, you want to see CMDB data in Sharewell, or whatever monitoring state in Teams, then let us know. We're all ears. Everything is possible. Of course, you can build your own with webhooks. If you like what you see, all that's left to do is go to cookdown.com/Connection Center, where you can take a trial, you can book a demo, and of course ask us any question on anything you've seen. We offer 30-day free trials of all of our products, so we do strongly encourage you take out these trials and play with our integrations together to see what works in your own environment. So thank you for watching this video.